Hello, March 8th, 2015. Happy Daylight Savings Time, everyone. You are looking at some highlights of quickly becoming one of the most exciting players of the NBA. That would be Ricky Rubio. There you saw him put a bounce past Robin Lopez there. Here's another long pass here to Kevin Martin for another dime. 15 assists in all. Rubio only shoots 36% from the field, but he is becoming a triple-double threat. Every night he takes a cart. There's a nice pass to Andrew Wiggins there for the flush, and here's a nice bounce pass for another dime. Wolves come up victorious over the Portland Trailblazers despite 32 points from Damian Lillard. Looking at some other developments from the night, I mentioned Lillard, Kevin Martin, 29 points. Portland, Minnesota, also Sacramento, Miami, the best games of the night. Randy Foye makes an appearance. As I called earlier in the week, look for more from Ty Lawson along with Mr. Fareed in Denver. And he flirted with a triple-double. Chris Middleton, I considered him, and he scored 30. James Harden, 28. Little disappointing with his salary these days. Only 43 fantasy points. The star of the night, the first star of the night, Tyler Johnson, who has spent most of the year with the Sioux Falls Skyforce. He's kind of channeling Jeremy Lin from a few years ago. Roto-World called him a max player with 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, steal, block, 3 3-pointers. Grand Forks, North Dakota native, home of the North Dakota Fighting. Well, they don't have a nickname right now. Well, they call them something else. I think they should petition to the NBA and be the Fighting Sioux, S-U-E. They could keep the name that way. I'm sure the NCAA's answer would be don't get smart. But Premier Hockey program just won regular season in the NC8C. But Tyler Johnson moved out west and played hoops. Went to Fresno State, undrafted. And suddenly we're talking about him being a premier a force in more ways than one in fantasy basketball. Looking at the scoring from last night, this is one of the mini shot leagues, and 318-4-1-1, 326-7-1 another was not a high scoring night. You have the bonus boogie with the Heat going to overtime, 52-9. Lillard had 52-4. You look at my lineup, kind of approached the top 25%. Would have been nice for a triple-up league, but and only about 40 points off the top of the leaderboard. And no one had a horribly disastrous night except for Aaron Aflalo. He scored 14 points, but absolutely nothing by way of rebounds, assists, or anything else. So what I wanted to show was Dre87, who scored a second and a first, like I did earlier in the week. And unfortunately, the prize structure, FanDuel likes to futz with it from night to night. Instead of the top prizes being 125 and 75, it was 170, and they forgot to send me an email reminding me of the weekly, actually the monthly free roll, which I usually don't, 22,000 entries or whatever, and only 170 cash, but I would have cashed because that was the best night of I had. I would have cashed it. So remember those free rolls that FanDuel does from time to time, and then also the monthly ones if you use X number of FanDuel points. The big news is I was trying to enjoy some grub over at Freddy's Custard, and suddenly I'm finding out that Hassan Whiteside was questionable and Tyler Johnson was questionable. Literally, more over 50% of the Miami Heat roster got listed as questionable. But he took a chance on Tyler Johnson, 3.5%, and I had Kanan, nice night, 31 points, but for cheaper, 1,000 cheaper, I could have got 9 points there, conceivably. Or is it any other player? And what I called last night was that the Hawks would rest some players. Sure enough, 6 p.m. Eastern, Kyle Korver was listed as out, along with Damari Carroll, and one of the winners here, he went with Bazemore and also Mike Scott, and those were for next to nothing salaries. Nice nights, 25-8 and 24-4. But getting back to my story, here's Bazemore. Again, all hindsight, obviously, but here's about 10 points there. And then there would have been extra salary. Rudy Gay, he's been on fire this week. 47-1. Put that instead of Baton or Gallinari, who had decent nights. So very simply, swap Baton to Gay. If I could jump in the time machine, swap Baton for Gay. Bazemore for Aflalo, Johnson for Kanan. That would have put me in the area of about 313, and that would have been about top 5. So that was the difference last night between being about the top 25%, whatever, or scoring some very decent cash. The difference between 159 and about 5th in this case. Going with today, final quarter poll of the season. We're about to get serious. Let's see. Here's a lineup I can roll with. Frank Kaminsky is going for 10,006. D'Angelo Russell, 10,005. Teron Petaway, 8,200. You could literally nail a hoop against a Nebraska barn, and Teron Petaway has not hit that this year. Shaq Goodwin from Memphis, 7,900. Shaq Harrison's. You notice a lot of Shaqs in the college football and basketball world now heading into the pros. That's part of the legacy of Shaquille O'Neal. A lot of kids born in the mid-90s named Shaq or Shaquille, and now they've shown up in the sports world, college football, college basketball. Let's see, linebacker for Washington, escaping the NFL draft. Andre Hollins, 72. I see a couple. Nigel Hayes, 6,900. Sam Decker, 6,900. Badgers need a win today if they want to stay on the one line. But let's get back to NBA. And we're going to look at, I just want to look at an all-day contest here. State-run ESPN ABC will be running a couple games. Bulls at the Spurs, Clippers at Golden State. They also renew their rivalry, their hostilities. Charlotte is at Detroit. Utah's at Brooklyn. Boston, Orlando. Toronto, OKC. That's the NBA TV offering tonight, and then Dallas is at the Lakers. So I actually like these final 3 games in particular with Boston, Orlando, Toronto, and the Lakers. That's a nightcap. And kind of looking at one of the fan-sided Zach Thompson, not Shaq Thompson, but he feels Westbrook was only 7% Friday night, if you might remember. I have a feeling he's going to have a much higher percentage, even at 12,500. He's also got someone named Alan Anderson. We're looking at cheap plays to put in alongside. I have no news on whether Nikola Vukovic will play or not tonight. If not, Channing Frye is a definite option, but we may not have clarity on that by 1 p.m. Eastern, unfortunately. Kind of look at these at 67.5. This has been paranormal, folks. Russell Westbrook 67.4, Chris Paul 51.8. If you want to go by RotoWire, they think at Westbrook's. I'm not going to bet against him at this point. You kind of look at some others who've been hot lately. Al Jefferson, these are last 5 games. I'm not going by projections. DeAndre Jordan, for a funny scene where he wouldn't put up that put back in the final seconds. Wednesday night, and Chris Paul was imploring him to put it up. That was great. Oladipo, 50-plus night the other night. Kind of looking, Draymond Green, he's been outperforming Klay Thompson lately, and Serge Ibaka, Rudy Gobert averaging 35 over the last 5. So we're just going to quickly put a lineup here and we'll learn a little bit about Alan Anderson. I'll be honest, never heard of him. He's had a couple. He's in about the 15-20 range. Not, but for purposes of this, we will play him. We will play Gobert. I gotta have Oladipo in there. Again, kind of. Jay Crowder would be a necessity for today. Here I'll put in Kid Gilchrist. Jay Crowder, he's gone up a couple hundred. He's 52, so that is to be expected. With the early games, Morotic, he's taken a jump up. Another thing about the they always project huge numbers on anyone against the Lakers. Like they think, if you want to believe this, Monta Ellis 37.3, Rajon Rondo projected for 37.3, Nowitzki 34.2, Tyson Chandler 34, and they've been nowhere. None of the 4 have been nowhere near that. The only one I would take a flyer on maybe is Monta Ellis. But so I got a point guard and a power forward that I'm looking at here. And if I want Mo Williams, that will leave me with 4,300. And what could I get for 4,300? If you think Fry's going to play, he'd work. The fallback would be Patrick Patterson, who shows up from time to time, and he might show up in this game. I would not be interested in a 1.4, though. That would be tough. Worst case scenario, Fry's minutes go downward. Maybe you're only looking at 15 or 20. You don't like some of these games. He only saw 18 minutes of play. But we'll kind of go Westbrook, Williams, Allen Anderson, Oladipo, Kid Gilchrist, Jay Crowder, Morotic, Fry, Gobert. If you want to go Tyson Chandler, there's an option. Then you have more room here with you could get a Brandon Bass in. You know, he'll be seeing playing time today. Maybe you could get a Brook Lopez in. Then you're looking at maybe swapping Oladipo for DeRozan. But there you go. Enjoy your Sunday. Like I said, best strategy, pour a couple bucks on the all-day session and look at the percentages, and then play the all-night with the last 5 games, and you have a little edge on the field. Thank you. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the basketball.